Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. Just finishing my morning cup of coffee. The upload time and the time you see this may be different, and the mailman dropped by to drop off my mail. Now, any day I don't get a bill is a good mail day as far as I'm concerned. The little one actually asked me, why am I always so happy when there's no mail? And I told her, I'm happy when there's no mail because that means there's no bad news today. But today, it wasn't bad news, it was coupons. Coupons, whatever, they don't really bother me as much as other people. But as I put them into the recycling, because none of the coupons particularly appealed to me, it started really making me think of ads and print media as a strategy. Let's take a look at Coke and Pepsi. You can go into the middle of the heartland of Russia and they know what Coke and Pepsi are. You can go to little tribes in Brazil and they know, oh, Coca-Cola. They'll know exactly what it is. So why really does Coke need to advertise? There's the argument that, oh, people are being born every day, but I mean, households are already kind of divided up into whether you're a Coke household or a Pepsi household. Personal example, my family overwhelmingly chooses Coke, but I'm a root beer fan. And I tend to prefer mug root beer, which I believe is a Pepsi product. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Does that make me a Pepsi person? No. It just means I like one of those products more. But if you give me a choice between a Coke and a Pepsi on a hot summer's day, I'm going to go for the Coke 99.9% of the time. This raises a question of how effective the advertising is. Yes, there's people being born today that they don't have a brand allegiance to. There's some person out there who, for some reason, lives in a dark basement and doesn't know the difference between the two. But other than that, most of the world has a clear grasp of what each one does. It's a beverage that you drink, and aside from introducing a new flavor, Coke is Coke, Pepsi is Pepsi, it just seems counterproductive to advertise either one. And going through the savings magazines, that's what I'm going to call them, because advertisements doesn't really do them justice. You know those little folders where all the local businesses have gotten together and given you their money? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's just such a shotgun approach to advertising in 2022 where people are paying good money to have experts sift through your data and figure out, okay, this man is in the, what's the golden demographic? The male 25 to 50 or whatever the heck it is. I'm just going to go with that. He's a male in the golden demographic. He lives in this area, so that means generally these people prefer to receive these products. I understand that. Nobody likes having their information taken and used, but I do understand that. It's a lot better approach than putting your money into a group catalog and hoping somebody likes something. Actually, little note on what Silverlight does. I don't just preach activism, I act on it. One of our local papers suddenly stopped delivering to our area. A couple weeks go by, I understand sometimes it's hard to find a carrier, but after a couple weeks I was pretty darn annoyed. Then I started talking to local businesses thinking, these are the guys advertising, they know their target audience, so maybe they've stopped putting advertisements in. And the couple that I know well enough to talk to, and I said, hey, are you still advertising in the blank? They're like, yeah, we pay every week to have a spread in there. And I said, did you know that's not actually being delivered to homes? No. Funnily enough, that and about 15, 20 phone calls later, my paper started appearing again. And now it's disappeared. And the worst part is they put it behind a paywall. Funny part, it's a completely local paper. There's like 3 pages of articles listing local events. Then there's advertisements for everything under the sun, obituaries, and that's pretty much the paper. So the only reason to read it was, making sure that the local mayor hasn't decided to wear a small mustache and have troops saluting him in the military parade. And yeah, that was the coupons. We don't think of coupons much in the modern day and age, but because everybody has a Groupon, everybody has their, clip code where you can put it in and get rebates. But really, coupons are the original way of enticing people into your store. Hey, bring this coupon, get 10% off. It's old, it's tried, and you know what? It still works. And not just because of the old fuddy-duddies, there's still young people coupon clipping. I had the misfortune very recently, as in within the past just before the pandemic is what I'm going to tell you. Just before the pandemic. I can't give you an exact date, but that recently, to be behind one of those people with the shopping cart filled to the brim, and they had coupons for everything. I didn't get mad. I just sat there, fascinated. And they had coupons. This person had to spend at least an hour of their time clipping all these coupons. And the whole shopping cart, everything, I was just, I was like on a roller coaster at that point. We're on board, or we're buckled in. Let's see where this thing takes us. And after all that time, all that research, price matching, everything, the woman saved less than $5. Now, nothing against that woman. It's good to be frugal. Things are getting expensive. Things are getting expensive for everybody. But I have always done a time value calculation in my head. It's better for me to know about a sale and to go to a specific retailer and get the one thing I want and then check out whatever the specials are there than it is to put myself through the grueling, I don't know what to say, the grueling ordeal of coupon matching to get any sort of a deal. And that's just me. You may disagree with me on that. And hey, if you get a coupon that craft dinner is, you can get 100 for $15 if you bring this coupon, by all means, bring that coupon. But usually the coupons really aren't that good. Groupon, I don't have any experience with. But when we start using these as ways to get people in, it's really a time waster. You're actively sabotaging yourself in return for a perceived benefit. Now, in that time that you're there with the cashier, finagling over $5, in addition to the time that you've spent at home, how much time are you putting into it to get that $5? A penny saved is a penny earned. The old adage is correct. But realistically, I went through the same cashier who was vastly surprised I had decided not only to stand there, but to stand there quietly because, I've heard of these things, but you rarely get a chance to see them. And I was in and out of there within 5 minutes, if not less. I only had a couple things. In, transaction, gone, grab my bags, go. As compared to this other person who had the opposite philosophy. Hey, that's the way life works. I think she's polite enough at one point to say to me, oh, there's other lines open. I'm like, no. I think it was a Friday, and I literally had nothing to do for a few hours. So that's what we have to start thinking of. In the modern world, where prices are going up, and now that Russia is starting to threaten that they control 18% of the world's wheat supply, which is true, we seriously need to think about how much we're willing to pay for things. Speaking as someone who lives in Canada, the Great White North, We have a heck of a lot of wheat here ourselves. As a matter of fact, during the famine Russia had during the late 70s or late 80s, Canada and the United States were supplying them with wheat. So for Vladimir Putin to turn around and use that same pressure on us, it's kind of funny. But the fact is, he's already telling you, you know what the cost of this whole Ukrainian exhibition is? Higher prices. Everything is going to be higher prices. Higher prices for fuel, higher prices for food. And you know what? They don't come back down. I'm old enough, I will admit, I was pretty young when this happened, but I'm old enough to remember when gas was 20 cents a liter. Yeah, 20 cents. And over the years I've watched, they put the prices up, say 20%, they drop them 5%, then they put them up another 20%. I'm seeing the same thing in food. I'm seeing the same thing with beverages. I remember buck of beer. Yeah, those days are never coming back. That's why I brew my own. But unfortunately, we can't all grow our own crops. There are some wonderful sources that show you how to do it if you're into that, but it's not really practical for the average person. People complain about the minimum wage going up. Oh, the businesses are going to have to charge more money. And I say, you know what? It's an endless cycle. Unless we have a government step in and set strict price controls, it's only natural there's going to be an arms race between salaries and goods. My wife complained yesterday, literally yesterday, that she had $200 to buy stuff with, and she went to the unnamed major retailer that requires a membership, and she bought barely anything. And she was a little bit distressed about that because she had just gotten a raise. Then we sat down and worked out her paycheck and everything, and I said, see, here's the problem. You're making barely 1% more than you were a year ago, whereas prices have jumped 5 to 10%. So yeah, this is why it feels like you're buying less, because you are buying less. And unfortunately, that's universal. We're at a point where we're going to need a universal basic income, or we need the government to really come down on minimum wage legislation and force companies to pay more. Now, everybody says this is a bad idea, but hear me out. If companies know that every year minimum wage is going to go up by X, they can reflect that and they can anticipate it. They know, okay, we're buying our cattle this year. Through that, we have to understand that when we sell the burger at the end of this, we're going to have to pay that worker 10% more next year. So therefore, we're going to try to get a deal on the cattle that allows us to save 10% somehow, whether it's buying in bulk, whether it's buying slightly less nice cattle. I don't know. I know virtually nothing about cattle purchasing other than it happens in an auction. Or they can say, we'll have our price increase this day, and that could even become a marketing thing. You know, a smart corporation would look at that and say, hey, we're going to tell everybody every year, July 1st, just to pick a date, our prices are going to go up 10% so that we can pay our workers the 10% more. And people are going to be there the last day of June, jamming the turnstiles. You're going to make all these sales, and the next day your prices go up, so you're making the money back, and you've got money in the till. See, this can be a fantastic marketing opportunity. You'll drive them in there. Everybody who wants their, double Big Mac with bacon or whatever the hell people are ordering these days. I have to look at McDonald's menu sometime. I am so out of touch. But yeah, this could work out to be very beneficial for everybody. But businesses are like, oh, we're trying to keep costs down. No, they're trying to keep their profits up. Cost down equals profits up. And don't let their double speech fool you. I hate using that word, but it's highly appropriate in this case. So, what's the upshot of all this? Watch your shopping patterns, watch your shopping habits. You're being subtly influenced at every step of the way. But there's a way that we could be doing better and keep our free market capitalist system, which is really a criminal globalist oligarchy in charge of everything. It requires vision. It requires people to start actually planning instead of reacting. And this is the biggest trouble. Too many people react. I guess you could say I picked on that woman with her coupons, but she was doing something positive. And you know what? Maybe she has a nervous condition. Maybe clipping those coupons makes her feel like she has more control. In which case, God bless her. Either way, God bless her. I don't bear anybody a grudge for anything like that. But she's actually a proactive shopper, whereas I am a reactive shopper. Okay, target acquired, we're going after it. I wait for the target to come for me, she goes and gets the target. Nothing wrong with either approach, but too many of us are willing to sit back and let our fates be dictated. Remember, like I said, I got my paper back? Well, it's time for all of us to get our papers back, as in stacks of green dollar bills. Because if we can't afford things, those things won't be there for us very much longer. At any rate, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, buy the merchandise, which are the books and the link down below, and we hope you have a fantastic day.